everyone. Welcome to another episode of Crypto Current. Your host here, Richard Carthon. And today I got an extremely special guest all the way out in Atlanta. You've definitely seen his channel. You've definitely seen all of the amazing things that he is sharing with everyone in the crypto and blockchain space. And if you haven't, you're sleeping under a rock. And if not, I'm going to expose you to someone you need to be paying attention to right now. We have Ben Armstrong, aka BitBoy. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic today. You got some good weather out right now. So, it's good after a long winter and a lot of rain to get some good weather and, ready to talk crypto. We love it.
Absolutely, man. Well, as everyone's listening, as you know, we are going to the Miami Crypto Experience that is coming up this April in 2021. It's going to be an amazing time, and he's going to be one of the keynote speakers. So, of course, I'm going to just open the floor to give you just a little bit of a tease, a little bit of a taste of what are some of the things that people can expect to hear when they come and listen to you.
Yeah. So what we're going to be talking about is DeFi, decentralized finance. For those that are unfamiliar, like you said, if you've been under a rock, DeFi is decentralized finance. It's really interesting because when I go back and I look at some of the early things that I read and experienced in crypto, I've been in crypto since 2012. One that really stands out is The Internet of Money by Andreas Antonopoulos. It's a great book. It's a fun book because it's not narrative. It's just, it's speeches. Each chapter is a different speech. So it's a totally different conversation for each thing throughout the book. And I'll never forget him explaining Bitcoin and talking about how the first layer of any new technology that we're going to see from here on out is money. And what's really interesting is at the time he was talking about Bitcoin being that money. But we've seen a lot of changes to Bitcoin. Bitcoin has transformed from being an internet currency, a digital currency, peer-to-peer, into something that nobody wants to spend. Nobody wants to get rid of it because, like Bank of America just put out a recent report, they said Bitcoin's number one, value proposition is it appreciates in value. So why would you ever want to get rid of something that appreciates in value? And so, what we're seeing now is Bitcoin is no longer digital currency, it's digital gold. It's a store of value asset.
Right.
Well, decentralized finance is that layer of money onto blockchain. So for me, thinking about how really DeFi offers everything that Bitcoin was kind of meant to be, but it's changed, is a really exciting opportunity. I think understanding that when it comes to cryptocurrency is money. So decentralized finance in the finance sector is going to be probably the very most disrupted thing, in the world currently by blockchain. And it's really exciting to talk about because I hate banks. So I want to get rid of it. It's my sole mission. I wish I could explain to you how many problems we have with banks. They know what I do with cryptocurrency. They target us. We had all of our bank accounts shut down because of a Coinbase wire. We sent some money from Coinbase into one of our bank accounts. They shut down all of our accounts. So, it's my personal mission to get rid of these people. So very excited to play a role in that and explain decentralized finance and how that boots those people out of the system.
For sure. And I mean, there's so much that we can unpack with it. I know you're going to unpack it during your conversation and during your speech at the conference. But something I want to spend some time on right now is just like you said, like if you look at where the internet is going and where traditional finance is now going into cryptocurrency and blockchain, DeFi are becoming the new banks. These are truly the new banking system of going into this next decade. And what I think people are failing to realize is that like you are really literally a pioneer to the next wave of how money is going to be transferred, of how people do business, of how everything kind of revolves. And it's exciting, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's funny, like me and my wife have had these conversations before about, I just started a rinky-dink YouTube channel out of, my home office. Originally, I actually had a big plywood box that I built to do my videos inside. I thought it would help with the sound. I didn't know what I was doing when I started this channel. Right. And, I started with this rinky-dink channel, and now, we're the largest channel in cryptocurrency. We have these conversations about how just interesting it is that we started with like nothing, and now we're leading the new generation of money in the world. And so anybody that's taking part of this, that's what we're doing. We're furthering a new message. And, last year I went and talked at a college group down in Florida. And it was really interesting because there were some people there that worked in finance, and they were very abrasive to the message of cryptocurrency. They were very abrasive toward, you don't understand, we need credit card processors because, these are jobs and this is the way that the system works. And get rid of that. It's new time, it's new system, new generation of money. We're getting rid of that old guard. So if that's what you're doing, I want to find a new job.
Right. And I mean, because it's hard to hear something when you're disrupting what they've been told their whole lives to go and do. But
Absolutely.
you know, what's the beauty of crypto and why I love things like the Miami Crypto Experience was about to come up, being able to go listen to you speak, listen to workshops and all the other things. One is to be around other bright minds, but then two, to find other ways that you can get involved and empowered to actually take action and do steps. And one of the things I enjoy about your channel is how active you are with giving people actionable steps to go and do things that will help change lives. I mean, I'm sure you can speak to it with the amount of views that you've gotten over the years, the amount of impact that you've really helped people take charge and power of their financial freedom and go to that next step.
Yeah, man, it's been one of these things that, you know, even if you look back at what I used to do before I was, you know, full-time cryptocurrency, I ran a nonprofit rehabilitation center for teenage boys with drug addictions. And so I've been helping people for a long time. I never thought I could help people with finance. Like, that's not a thing that I thought like 10 years ago in my life, you know? Right. But I realized the impact that we're having on people. We recently went to Las Vegas. We did a podcast with Graham Stephan out there, and we had a meetup. It was just kind of, you know, we talked about it for a week. 250 people showed up to this meetup in the Venetian, and I had person after person after person come up to me and tell me about how much this channel has changed their lives. I had people showing me $1 million portfolios. I had a girl talking to me crying, like not because like I'm the Beatles or something, like certainly not like that, but because of the impact that we've had on her life financially. And like, we've changed it forever. Like, we've changed people's lives forever on this channel. And, you know, in cryptocurrency, it's not always like that, right? Like, we know bear markets. I've been through a few of them, and they're brutal, and it makes you question a lot of what you believe about cryptocurrency sometimes. Right. And then these bull runs, though, that's not what we see. We see a lot of people making money, and we're going to try to lead them to make the right decisions at the top of the market as well. It's a little bit different than a lot of the stuff that was happening in 2017 with influencers and YouTubers. Not calling out anybody specific. I don't think they understood the cycles yet as well back then. Right. But it's really cool to have an impact on people's lives and seeing them change. And, you know, there's nothing that I'm prouder of in what we've done than, you know, the people that have already retired. We have people that have retired already who've been watching this channel for a few years.
And that's incredible, man. Like, and what's probably even crazier is that when you first started, that wasn't the end goal. Like, I want to go back to your like core of like, when you first got this off the ground, you're like, I want to start this channel. I want to talk crypto. Like, what was the original game plan? And then like, obviously, how was that transitioned and evolved over time?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I would say in a lot of ways, my channel has been a self-fulfilling prophecy, but it hasn't really deviated from what my initial goal with this channel was. And why I say that is, so I bought Bitcoin in 2012. I was using it as a currency, not on the Silk Road. I was buying a software for a business that I had, and they only took Bitcoin. They had some, you know, credit card processing problems, and so that's why they decided to take it. And so I was spending all kinds of Bitcoin on all this software and these systems. And what happened is that one day I went and looked at this account, and all of a sudden I had like what I consider to be, you know, like just change in there, like maybe $50. It was worth like $2,000. Like, it was in November of 2013 when the price really popped up. Right. And I was like, man, wow, this is really cool. I just made $2,000. So I went and met a guy from localbitcoins.com, and we met at a McDonald's over Wi-Fi, and he paid me and I gave him the Bitcoin. The guy's probably a billionaire now. And, you know, I sat there and I was trying to understand what Bitcoin was. I had my laptop there, and like, I couldn't grasp it. Like, I couldn't see the bigger picture. I mean, Bitcoin then wasn't what Bitcoin is now in terms of, you know, having all the education resources out there. So the point is, I sold out very early. Now, Mt. Gox crashed. I would have lost it all anyways, because that's where I had it. So it was a decent decision. But in 2017, when I was watching the numbers and I was thinking about how many tens of thousands of dollars that I had put in Bitcoin and what it would be worth at that point, which was 8 figures, right? I said, I don't ever want anyone to go through this. I don't want anyone to ever have this kind of opportunity in front of them and let it go by. And so that's actually why I started my channel, was to be able to show people what this was and the gigantic opportunity. And somehow within, you know, going full-time in crypto and doing this channel, I myself have done very well financially. And, you know, I'm not going to say I have as much now as I would have had if I would have held on to all my Bitcoin in 2012, but, you know, we're doing well. And we're also accomplishing the goal of helping people on top of that. So to me, that's even more valuable and rewarding than if I just would have made a bunch of money in 2012 or 2017 and retired. So, helping people understand the opportunities in front of them through empowering them with education, that's what we like to do.
Absolutely. And I mean, y'all are definitely doing that. And that's even something that we really like strive for here at Cryptocurrent is like the first way that someone can grow is to first know it exists. And then from there, giving them the tools to go and act on those things. Right. And, something that I really enjoyed that I got to see you do this year was bring your family to the Super Bowl and be able to participate in that. And that's all from the fruits of your labor of just going out there grinding, like, and being able to empower others by also empowering yourself, right? You're learning about all these different things, you're acting on it, and you're continuing to network and grow everything out. And with that, I'm sure you've gotten to meet a ton of amazing people. You've gotten to have all kinds of incredible interviews. What are some of the, you don't necessarily have to name drop anyone, but if you want to, by all means do it. But like, what are some like memorable interviews where you like took some bits and pieces from it and then was like, wow, I should like use this for the way that I even give out information?
Yeah. I mean, well, I would say that probably two of my most memorable interviews. I mean, Graham Stephan was a big one that was recent. Somebody not in cryptocurrency. I mean, he is a little bit. That was a good one, a very popular YouTuber, 3 million subscribers. But two of the ones that I look back on and I remember very fondly, CZ, when I interviewed CZ for my podcast, Beards and Bitcoins, now it's called New Money Gang. We have a wholly different thing. But we interviewed him and he just came off as like such a normal, like down to earth guy. And I love that. I love down to earth people. I'm down to earth, I'm authentic, I'm transparent. And, I'm just a regular guy. People see my family, we do fun stuff. We have some money, but I'm not a regular guy just like everybody else. And seeing CZ, a billionaire, one of the most powerful people in cryptocurrency, just be like totally down to earth and be willing to, to answer questions and being very personable and friendly. I was like, okay, I like this guy. I like what they're doing. And it really just made me think like, give a different perspective of billionaires, in a lot of ways. And then the other one is Charles Hoskinson. I love Charles Hoskinson. Some people might say I have a man crush on Cardano itself, which I kind of do a little bit. I love Ethereum and Cardano. Vitalik won't come on my channel. So, Charles Hoskinson does. So, but the thing about Charles is, and I think this is such a big thing in the crypto space, memes are so powerful. You got memes out there and they paint certain narratives and pictures of people that aren't reality. And even I find myself sometimes buying into some of that stuff. Like you just go back to Roger Ver, for instance. I interviewed him as well. Another really great guy. And Roger Ver, the famous picture of him or the video of him flicking the people off on the camera because they kept saying Bcash instead of Bitcoin Cash. And you just think, this guy's ridiculous. Like, what a crazy person. Well, then you start researching, you realize like Bitcoin wouldn't be where it is without him. Like he was the first online retailer to accept Bitcoin. He played such a role in investing in so many of the biggest crypto companies today as a venture capitalist. The Bitcoin would not be where it's at without Roger Ver. Now, obviously, Bitcoin Cash is a whole other thing, but he did so much positive stuff for the space. And really getting to know him and meet him, it made me really start realizing like, all these memes aren't true about people. You see this stuff about Charles Hoskinson where he's hard to work with. And I've said stuff like that on my channel before. And that, he's very egotistical and, Cardano science and all this stuff. Then you talk to him and you really get to understand everything that he has to offer in terms of, helping you understand what Cardano is and why he believes all the things that he does about cryptocurrency. And you figure out like, wow, this is really a very cool guy, and he definitely knows what he's talking about and he's really good for the space. But obviously, when you get a lot of these, high, big brain people, they may just not have the best. I won't say he doesn't have great social skills because he does, but it's hard for them to communicate. I think sometimes on a simple level to people, and that puts people a little bit out of their comfort zone. So those are 3 interviews that I know I did that I love: Roger Ver and Charles Hoskinson and CZ. I think they're all stand-up guys. That's amazing, and thanks for sharing those. And you are. It's amazing when you get these really, really high-powered people who aren't necessarily that articulate, nor like when they talk, they're not necessarily as passionate, right? And I love interviewing and talking to people who have a lot of passion behind what they're doing. But it doesn't mean that you're still not getting a lot of chunks of like, wow, let me take all these notes down. You're spitting gold for an hour straight. Like, I know, right? You know what I'm saying? Like you can still get a ton of great nuggets from people, but it might not be received as well from the greater audience. But the beauty of crypto and all the amazing projects that are within it is that you have this gigantic range of just
just projects. You know, one of the ones that you came up recently that I was watching, that was when you did the video on Graph. And when you explained how basically they're basically trying to make the Google blockchain, I was like, this makes perfect sense. Like, I wish someone would have explained this a lot simpler to me when it came out on Coinbase over a year ago, right? But like, it's stuff like that where you get to find these little nuggets of like knowledge and have someone break it down simply where you're like, this makes sense. Why wouldn't someone want to potentially become a part of this and share it with others?
Yeah, exactly. And that's one thing we really focus on my channel is being simple with stuff. Like I never, and I've ran into this problem so many times in this space. It's like people are always trying to impress you with how much they know. With like, what is their knowledge or inner workings of the tech of a project? 99% of people do not care. They're like, I've got a cell phone right here. I have no idea how it works, but I use it every day. And that's the goal of crypto and blockchain. And if you can't understand these concepts and you can't explain them simply to people, then, this is never going to take off. People need to either understand what it is or understand how to use it to a point where they don't care how the tech works. And so, I'm not going to be able to talk on my channel the in-depth technicals of a project in terms of the technology itself, like some other YouTubers are going to. But on my channel, we're going to promise we're going to explain to you in a way that makes sense to you. And so if we can't do that, we're not going to talk about it.
Right. And that's so crucial. And, on that, something else that like I'm pretty excited about, as we are getting closer to the Miami Crypto Experience and being there is being back around people again, right? And just also being around crypto people, being able to do it in a social way and in a safe way. But, what are some things within the conference itself besides being able to speak? Like, what are you looking forward to with like just being able to go and attend something like that right now?
Yeah. Well, I mean, a lot of my closest friends in the world, I'd say pretty much all my closest friends in the world are involved in cryptocurrency. So, being able to see like a lot of friends like, Crypto Wendy, Wendy O, she's a really great friend of mine. And I know she's going to be going. And then there's other people that are going to be going as well. And just being able to kind of reunite with a lot of those people that I haven't seen in a really long time. It's going to be definitely, pretty fun to be able to do that with different people at different conferences. Not everybody can go to every conference, but that's one thing that we definitely love is being able to connect with people we know. But then in addition, I can't lie, like, the last time I was going to a conference, I had like 9,000 subscribers, and it was just somebody came up to me and they were like, oh, I know you. I was like honored, like, oh, my channel. Wow. I was looking at all these other people I'd be on the stage with and I'd be like, I know who all they are. And so it'll be a different experience for us. I have 20 employees. So we'll be bringing different employees down with us to these events as well. We've got a full-time vlogger that vlogs everything that we do. And so it's just going to be a totally different kind of experience from us, on this side. I know like in the past, we would have to like beg for tickets to stuff. And now it's,
right.
People want us to come, and it's good being on this side of things, and excited to see like a lot of our fans, and so there's definitely that aspect of it as well.
For sure, man. And I'm sure it's been a journey to go from that side of like just getting the foot in the door to now being one of the keynotes, right? But just like you said, being able to reunite with friends. We also had Crypto Window on the show previously as well. So I'm also looking forward to reconnecting with some people as well as making some new relationships. It's been a while before get to in-person meet and network with humans. And so definitely looking forward to that as well. But man, as we kind of wrap this up, there's just a couple more topics that I want to kind of touch on. One is, as we kind of, if you could take a step back and look at where we are in 2021 right now and where things are headed. I know DeFi is a big thing that you're looking at, but are there any other big subject matters that also have your attention right now?
Yeah, so I love DeFi, and I was asked to speak about DeFi, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm very passionate about it, but I mean, obviously right now the hottest thing is NFTs. And so NFTs, in a lot of ways, are kind of a sub-niche of decentralized finance. They have DeFi elements to them, but, we're getting a lot of, questions from people about NFTs, what they are. I've got a very large TikTok account. I know the TikTok audience is very interested in NFTs and collectibles. And so that's definitely the huge trend that we're watching now. We feel like the trend that DeFi was over the summer of 2020, that's where we're heading to with NFTs. And then, I mean, another thing, I'm very passionate about is the smart contract space. I mean, because yes, I got into this channel to educate people about cryptocurrency, but one of the things that really drew me to cryptocurrency the most was the idea of a decentralized decentralized internet, and things that are censorship resistant. We love that. Social media blockchains. We hate Facebook and the way that they just screwed everybody over by, pretty much ruining a whole generation of data. And so we hate that. Everybody that works here, we're big. Again, now we have to use Facebook because that's an audience there that, we want to tap in to educate about things that Facebook does.
Right.
But smart contracts and that entire space, Cardano, Ethereum, and, Polkadot, these are all projects, Cosmos, Elrond, Solana. These are also, things that we think aren't just like a hot niche. These are going to be things that are going to change the world forever. And of course, DeFi is going to be ran using a lot of those platforms. So those are two of the things that I'm the most interested in at all times in crypto, NFTs and smart contract platforms.
Yeah. And thanks for putting that on everyone's horizon. We definitely speak on that pretty frequently. It's also, we have a ton of guests that come on and talk about those things. But again, everyone go back and listen to that a second time and just make sure that you are staying up to date on all those things, because I agree that when you look at a lot of these things that are looking at platforms and you're building up these great infrastructure so more and more can be built upon it, I think those are great opportunities. But outside of that, man, just two more fun questions for you. One, all the knowledge that you've been able to gain over the years, and if you could take your knowledge right now and go impart wisdom to yourself back at the beginning, what are like the top 2 or 3 things that you would let yourself know?
I would say it's kind of hard to wrap this up into a specific phrase, but I would say like the market cycles are real. Like that's one of the biggest things that screwed a lot of people was thinking that we're at the beginning of this burgeoning new technology that's super exciting, and people thinking that's just going to go up forever because of that. And that's not the way that markets work. But the fact is that, there are going to be ups, there are going to be downs. FUD and FOMO are real. And, those are things you got to pay attention to in the market. And that's from an investing standpoint. The other thing that I would tell myself is, get ready, because you're going to see the same tired narratives over and over and over again. When we see the market cycles, we also see the media cycles. Just today, like we covered some stories about, crypto is bad for the environment and, a bunch of hippie stuff. So we know if you actually take the entirety of Bitcoin mining in the world and equate it over and over again, that are going to try to make you sell, and then also understanding the market cycles, I think that's probably the most important wisdom I could have imparted to myself. So the other thing would have been to just be prepared for all these tired media narratives that we hear. It's like a pounding drum. Just you're always hearing the same stories, like, this time, Bitcoin's going to crash, or Bitcoin's over, the governments are going to ban Bitcoin, Bitcoin's bad for the environment. You just hear those same stories over and over again. I think in the beginning of a person's journey in cryptocurrency, they hear those things and they give them a lot more credence. But once you've heard them like 9 or 10 times, like, it's just coming around. It's a, media narrative cycle. And so I think understanding the market cycles and the media cycles of cryptocurrency is probably extremely important, for people newer in crypto.
Absolutely, man. And it just myself having going through the 2018, when we went from the top of the market down to the bears, going through it, and now we're in this next bull cycle, I definitely see how media can definitely bring a lot of impact into the narrative around like how good or bad crypto is as a whole. But for those that are in it for the long run and you're playing the long game, a lot of people have had a lot of success and are doing extremely well and have a lot of great things going. So definitely appreciate that imparted wisdom. But man, I really do appreciate you spending some time with us, Ben. I'm excited to come listen to you at the Miami Crypto Experience and hearing your keynote. But as we kind of wrap all this up and put a bow on it, what is a final thought that you want to leave with all of our listeners here today?
Yeah, final thought I would leave with your listeners is, you kind of touched on this earlier. One thing we do on the channel is we empower people. And, if you look back, I love this example. I'd say it on so many shows I go on. Kind of one of the things that got me started in going full-time in crypto is understanding that, if you go back to the gold rush in the 1800s, 90% of people that went out to California to find gold, they didn't find gold. Only about 10% did. A company or a man named Henry Wells Fargo, one of the enemies of our system now, but Henry may not have been that bad of a guy. He went out there during the gold rush and he decided that he was going to start a company where they were going to sell the shovels and the pickaxes and the flashlights and the helmets to all the people that wanted to go out there and mine gold. And he basically had hedged himself. Didn't matter if he found gold or not, he was going to do well. And so in cryptocurrency and blockchain, it's a similar opportunity where there's a lot of ways you can make money. but selling the shovels, selling the shovels is what I like to do. I empower people through education. I sell the education. Of course, everything on the channel is free on YouTube. On the YouTube videos is free. But I decided a long time ago, I want to be part of cryptocurrency. And so for anybody that's newer, it's not just about throwing some money in some coins and hoping you make some money. Find ways to get involved. We know AI is going to be taking a lot of jobs over the next several years. And so the better you can position yourself into cryptocurrency for the long run, the better off you're going to be and the better chance you have to change your life.
Absolutely, man. That was an absolute gold nugget gem of a final thought. Everyone go back and listen to that. Right now, if you look at, again, from the test of time, if you look at these big names that you still see today, they wouldn't found a unique way to get involved in a unique opportunity at the time. Selling shovels. Also, I believe Levi sold the jeans to all the people that were going and doing the work, right? So there are a lot of companies in the crypto space that are creating the tools that are ultimately going to drive this next generation of financial freedom forward. So keep finding ways to get involved with those. And a great way to do that is to keep up with Mr. Ben Armstrong, aka Mr. BitBoy. Follow his channel, get some great information, come out to Miami Crypto Experience, listen to him talk. But Mr. Ben, what are some ways that people can connect with you and learn more about all of the amazing content that you're putting out there? And of course, we're going to share this in the show notes as well.
Yeah, of course. I mean, you guys can go to bitboycrypto.com or any platform you go to. You can search BitBoy Crypto. We're verified on most platforms except for Twitter. Come on, Twitter. You can find us on Twitter, BitBoy_crypto. But if you just search BitBoy, you'll pretty much find us everywhere.
Awesome. Well, again, looking forward to meeting you at the conference coming up. And of course, everyone listening, stay cryptocurrent. Tantra Labs, where you can earn 12% in Bitcoin and Ethereum yearly. Tantra Labs is a team of researchers, engineers, and data scientists, economists, and optimists whose primary focus is in Bitcoin, which they believe will usher in a more prosperous future built on sound money. They offer real-time loan tracking, fast automated onboarding, 100% payment history, and multi-sig storage. And again, you will get 12% APY on the crypto that you loan. Tantra Labs is taking on international clients as well as clients in the US, except for the state of New York. For more information, please go to tantralabs.io.